What I find here as I sit in the room we're sitting in is that I'm in one of the most important historic sites in Europe. Not just the northeast of England, not just Britain, in Europe. This is a bishop's palace, a very special bishop's palace. It goes way back, 900 years. And if you were to put it on a scale of the great church buildings of Europe, I think you'd nearly be up to the Vatican or Avignon, the Pope's palace there, before you get anything as historic as this. This is a site which was started with great medieval prince-bishops, which went through the Protestant Reformation, which went into modern times. The bishop still lives here, and I hope will go on living here on this site. And that's an extraordinary piece of continuity. In the 9 centuries of bishops here, you'll have greedy, powerful politicians, you'll have thoughtful holy men, you'll have austere scholars. There was a bishop, for instance, in the early 16th century here called Cuthbert Tunstall. Now, he was a great man, a great conservative Catholic, you might say, but he also wrote a standard textbook on arithmetic in the 16th century. As a man of many parts, they called him Dreaming Durham when he was alive. Clearly, he was a scholar, but also a great politician who tried to keep Protestantism at bay. And then in the 20th century, another great bishop, Hensleigh Henson, a fine scholar who didn't suffer fools gladly. He didn't like people in the Christian church who he thought were over-simple, over-pious. He was a great champion of thinking carefully about the Bible. But he was also a great Tory, and he opposed the general strike. Didn't win himself any friends in the coal fields of Durham by doing that. But I mean, there are good things and bad things about these people. They are not cardboard cutouts. And I hope that we can bring a sort of sense of roundedness to people in this building and a sense of the way that history is really quite complicated, because it's about complicated human beings. I think these pictures are a wonderful symbol of all sorts of aspects of Britain's religious past. And not just Britain's religious past, because of course these are Spanish paintings. And they come from a deeply Catholic country which had expelled its Jews. And a painter called Zurbarán made the courageous decision to show these great figures from Jewish history in a very sympathetic light. He was selling them to countries which officially had no Jews, where it was extremely dangerous to be a Jew. You might well be burnt at the stake if you were a Jew. So to paint a series of paintings in which Jews are the stars was quite remarkable. And then the next great story is the fact that an English bishop, a Prince Bishop of Durham, bought these paintings because he was so interested in the Jewish people. These paintings became his personal testimony to the fact that the Jews were God's chosen people alongside Christians. I think that's a tremendous message from these paintings, which of course are valuable, but they're much more than just valuable paintings. This is a vast site which has lots of bits of hardboard all over the place, cutting up medieval rooms into all sorts of little complexes. Take those down, I wonder what we'll find here. And there's one big mystery on this site. It's a perfect medieval bishop's palace, except the medieval chapel is missing because it was demolished in the 17th century by a Roundhead who bought this palace in the Civil War when the bishop had been thrown out. So we don't know where the medieval chapel was, and what a splendid building it would have been. The present chapel was actually the medieval bishop's dining hall, and that's splendid enough, but the chapel would have been even greater.